Welcome, everyone. This is Julie Emden of Embodied Jewish Learning in partnership with Shalem, the Jewish Wellness Initiative of the Peninsula Jewish Community Center. Today's trait for our podcast series is Simcha, or joy, happiness. I'll offer a brief teaching on this trait and then invite you to explore Simcha with me via an embodied practice. If anything I offer is not right for your body, please do what is right for you. Pause the recording now and get a mat and a blanket, and then clear the space wherever you are so that you can move your body freely, at least enough space to open your arms as wide as possible and to take large steps. I also invite you to select a song and have it ready to play at the end of the recording, a song that brings you joy, a song that brings you to your feet, and when you hear it, you cannot help but dance and sing along with it. Simcha can be translated as joy, and of the many words for joy in Hebrew, Simcha connotes happiness, cheerfulness, festivity, and joviality, an energetic feeling of lifting up the spirit. Menachem Mendel of Vitebsk, a Hasidic Rebbe in the 18th century, speaks of divinity in the body as a life force, chiyut, in our hearts, which spreads out to all of our limbs. So we will move our bodies today with an awareness of the unique miracle it is simply to live, move, and breathe with health and ease of movement where ease exists. We'll practice with an emphasis on free-flowing, joyful energy, our chiyut, that expresses itself through all of our being. It will be a practice of energetic movements that require some core strength and flexibility. I invite you to experience with me our bodies as a source of simcha, strength, playfulness, and joy. We'll start with an energizing rolling back massage to open these channels for more breath, more light, more joy to move through us. To begin, place a mat on the floor and an open blanket on top of the mat. Sit down at the front edge of the blanket with your knees bent, facing straight up to the sky. Balance on your sits bones, only your toes touch the floor. Take hold of your outer thighs just below the knee. Inhale and roll onto your back with momentum, and then roll quickly forward to sitting again. Repeat this a few times. Let your legs give you momentum. You may roll into a brief plow pose each time. And when you come up, use your toes to push off the floor to keep the momentum going. Try coming to a squat and pushing off the floor with your hands to come all the way up to standing, arms overhead, and then come down again and roll right back into the movement. Have fun and go with what gives you joy with this movement. After 10 or so rounds, take yourself to the floor again, fold the blanket, place it under your hips, and take a seated position. In the Asher Yatzar prayer of the morning service, we give thanks for the many channels and passageways in the body. We speak of nikavim, nikavim, chalulim, chalulim. Blessed are you, source of life and of all worlds, who in your wisdom has formed the human being with a multitude of openings and channels. The prayer continues to note that if one of these channels were open that should be closed, or one closed that should be open, we would be unable to live. So as we sit in this position, take note of the gorgeous construction of the body, with all of the channels and openings that allow us to live. The channels of the respiratory system, where we receive fresh oxygen into our lungs, the circulatory system that delivers blood with this fresh oxygen to all of our limbs, the openings and closures in the cardiovascular system that allow our hearts to pump this blood, and the channels of the digestive system, just to name a few. Now, bring your attention to your legs. Consider the legs also as open channels that, with the help of these other systems, help us move through the world. With a folded blanket under your sits bones, Bend your left leg and extend your right. Lengthen the spine and hinge the entire torso and pelvis up and over the long open channel of your extended leg into a slight forward bend, hinging forward just an inch or two. Keep the channels of the torso and legs open. Rebbe Nachman of Breslov says that joy is our primary source of health. So as you receive each inhalation, she'ifah, imagine you are breathing in Simcha, a Simcha that enters your bloodstream as fresh oxygen and infuses all of your being with an awakening, enlivening, uplifted energy that flows through you. Take a few breaths with this image in mind. Inhale and lift the torso back up, switch legs, and take the second side. You may pause the recording here if you like. Now, we are going to move quickly through a few yoga postures to keep opening all the limbs of the body. Remove the blanket from your mat and come to all fours with weight equally distributed on your hands and knees. Raise your hips up to a quick downward facing dog with feet closer together than usual. Lift your right leg up behind you, long and energized, and let the knee bend so that you feel the open channel of the whole right side of the body, from hands through arms, through side ribs and waist, all the way up through the leg. Imagine Simcha spreading from your heart to all of your limbs. If you practice yoga regularly and wish to keep going, you can turn and land into Wild Thing, a one-armed back bend, and come back around again. Bring your leg back to downward facing dog, and when you're ready, lift the left leg and repeat this movement. Come back to downward dog, and then walk the feet forward and lift the torso to come up to standing. We'll take some free-flowing movements with the arms and legs now to play with Menachem Mendel's image of our life force, chiyut, as an embodiment of joyful energy that moves from our heart out through our limbs to our fingers and toes. The word limb, ever, has the same Hebrew root, aleph vet resh, as the name of Avraham. 248 is the gematria for Avraham's name, and 248 limbs correspond to 248 positive mitzvot. In fact, there's a teaching that 613 limbs and sinews in the body correspond to all 613 mitzvot in the Torah. So our limbs are the vehicle by which we connect the worlds of spirit and matter. The more we create open channels for our limbs, the more capacity we have to bring light, goodness, and joy into this world. The idea with these movements now is to open the limbs, the arms and legs, as wide and far as possible. Bring your mind's eye to all the channels and systems of fluidity and flow in the body. Stand with your feet wide, arms open and extended in a star shape. Find the lines of energy from left foot to right fingers and from right foot to left fingers, and then begin to shift your weight to your left. Soften and bend your left knee. Release your left arm by your side and lift your right arm overhead. Feel the expanse and reach. Feel the whole right side of the body as an open channel for Simcha through your legs, torso, and arms. Now release the right arm to your right side and come back to center. Shift your weight to the right and extend your left arm overhead, taking the same movement on your left. When you're ready, release this posture, and to close the practice, we'll take this star shape into all directions in space with music. Find your selected song, and with the imagery of Simcha extending and expanding from your heart through to all of your limbs, play the song. Sing along with it and move your body into all directions. Let the movement take you, lift you, just dance and have fun. Deep joy is an experience that is beyond the mind, and we can access it for a few minutes every day with these brief practices of opening the channels of the body and bringing joyful energy forth from the center of our being to the edges of our fingertips with movement and dance. Thank you for listening, and please do let us know how you experience these podcasts. I wish you a continued experience of embodied Simcha as you move through your day.